Hey, I was just looking at my 20 million plus long form views, money flowing in from my six-figure business, and you may be thinking, maybe I'm just gifted, maybe I'm just built different. But no, I'm actually quite a dummy dumb face. It's just the way I work. And one of the biggest things that impact the way I work is my office slash content studio slash dojo. So in this video, I'm going to break down every single thing in this room that allows me to be hyper productive, make insanely awesome epic quality content, and of course put money in my bank account. When you first walk in, you probably notice there's weird black triangles in every single corner. There's a giant black cloth over the wall. There's these egg carton foam pads and these gritty foam pads. Gritty. And that's because one of the most important things when it comes to content isn't anything that appears on the screen, it's everything that appears in the ears, because viewers, they'll forgive if you film a video on an iPhone, they'll forgive if the lighting's not perfect and looks like a billion dollar movie. They won't forgive if your audio sounds like it was recorded with a tin can and a string tied to your camera. So in every single corner, I have what are called bass traps. Essentially, that means when you speak, your audio, your voice bounces off everything. Kind of like, imagine if you were in a room full of mirrors and I was shining a light. The light would bounce off that wall, then here, then there, then there, then there. And eventually what happens is, if you don't have soundproofing, it bounces off, it goes around, and then it hits the microphone a second time, and that creates reverb. And it doesn't sound good, and people don't like that. So what did I do? I put bass traps in every corner. Typically, I'm talking in this direction, so I put a giant sound blanket on the wall. I soundproofed this door. I put these two panels right here, and it sounds a lot better. And if you stick around, I'm going to actually explain exactly how my audio setup works with this wonderful little microphone right here to have some of the best audio. The second biggest thing you probably notice is that I have a giant, big black wall, a BBW, if you will. And that's because, just look, if I'm recording a video on a white wall, I'm a pasty motherfucker, and I'm going to chameleon myself into the wall. You won't even be able to see me. Whereas when I record videos and there's a bold black wall behind me, suddenly me, the subject, pops out more. It may sound like, oh, Kenny, you're overthinking things. It's almost impossible to overthink things because every little thing that appears on camera, everything you say in your videos affects how the viewers perceive you. It affects the overall feel, the vibe, the aesthetic of your videos. So I highly urge you, whether you can record in a nice, big, awesome dojo, you have to record in your living room like I used to, put things in place to where you, the subject, pops out compared to everything else. Moving on to this assortment of random trinkets and things, we have this painting metal thing of King Baldwin. The next thing is lights, lighting. Do I have professional lights that we're going to get to? Yes, but also in the background and for the overall vibe of your office and for productivity, because you want your office to be bright to promote wakefulness into your eyes and so you focus more. I have this giant Chinese finger trap looking light I got on Amazon. Moving on, I have my Nerf gun right here. I know it looks real. It's a Nerf gun. We have a chess bear brick little guy with some glasses we'll talk about in a little bit. A fake plant, because that's the one thing about this room. It's lacking plants. We need to go to the plant store. We need to get some shelves and some plants going on. Lamp, random nonsense, balloon dog, and of course, because I have to signal to you that I know what I'm talking about, my 100,000 subscriber play button. Speaking of books, I have a lot of books right here. You'll notice they're kind of awkwardly sitting on this box right here. And that's because when I was filming, if I put the books on the bottom, the viewer can't see them. And I want the viewer to see books because I want the viewer to look and think, oh, this guy reads. He must be smart. He must have authority. He must know what he's talking about. That's why most of your favorite creators put books in the background. Half the time they don't even read them. I've actually read these. So if you are a reader, if you have books you've read, especially if they tie into the content you make now, maybe you are a psychology creator and you help people with their brains and whatnot, throw some psychology books you read in the background of your videos. The shelf itself is just some cheap little crummy Amazon shelf. The whole idea is this is just, when I film this way, having nice stuff in the background so I'm not just on a plain black wall, because while that would look fine and work with what you have, it is a little soulless compared to if you can curate and throw in some little aspects of your personality into the background. Then we have this chair that is never really sat in. It was pretty much just put there for aesthetic purposes. And another thing, it's a soft cushiony chair. It breaks off the hardness and angles of this wall, which means it also helps absorb sound when sound is bouncing all over the place. We have this mask that I spent $300 on, handcrafted in Italy. That's a long story that we don't need to talk about. This is a lightweight tripod. I mainly use it for the Osmo, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but you can also put your phone on it, things like that. And yet another thing, this is half interior design, half soundproofing, because more cloth that breaks up the wall and absorbs sound. But also, if you have a window, you should put drapes beside them. It just looks infinitely better. And clearly under this window, I need some kind of table or something, because I have just stacked a whole lot of crap on this little bitty windowsill right next to the blind. So I can explain. We got little tripod, microphone, we'll talk audio in a second, wired headphones, because yes, I have AirPods, you'll see them at the desk, but when you're editing, I try to avoid Bluetooth because almost always there's a delay. So you're gonna cut, you're gonna sync your audios, and then you're gonna play it through speakers or through wire headphones, and there's gonna be a slight delay. So to mitigate that, I try to edit, if I'm not using my speakers, wired headphones. Extra batteries for the camera, little tripod for my Osmo, cards. So like I said, audio is one of the most important things of your video because people will not forgive shitty audio. So my lavalier mics, one of them, is the Hollyland Lark Max, I believe is what they're called. They're slightly more expensive, really nice, high quality lavalier mics. I got the transmitter on, got one right here as well. I have a backup DJI mic for my Osmo that I'm gonna show you in a second. And in terms of the evolution of my content, this was kind of the first decent shotgun mic. This is a Deity D3. Then I upgraded to this Sennheiser MKE 400. I actually use this for a while, even on talking head videos. If you go to my other channel, on my older videos, I just had it like this as I would yap. It sounds pretty decent for the price. And by the way, everything I mentioned in this video is gonna be Amazon linked in the description, and it's actually the Prime days right now, so all of these things are probably on sale if you wanna upgrade your studio, which you probably should. Enough of that basement dwelling nonsense. Here on the floor, we have a label printer, and over here we have tons of inventory of my blue light blocking glasses company that I've been starting. I'm just manually fulfilling orders myself right now as we're getting off the ground. But guys, if you are not blue light pilled, if you do not know the effects that blue light can have on your sleep quality, on your ability to focus, on your dopamine levels, on your cortisol levels, I highly recommend checking out. I'm going to link these specifically in the description because I have a page that explains why people are choosing to wear blue light blocking glasses, namely 24ths, my brand. And then we have this. This is actually a very crucial piece for a lot of my videos. This is a boom arm kind of jerry-rigged with another phone mount monopod right here. And as you can see, what I do is I pick it up and I just let it hang over my desk. I take my phone, I slap it on here, and then I get those nice top-down drawing videos that I've done a decent amount on this channel and a lot on my other channel. This is just a regular tripod from Amazon. Almost all of them in this price range, like $70, $60, are pretty much the exact same thing from different brands. We have my main key light cinema light right here. This is the Amaran 60SX. We have this softbox on it, and it is a small rig LAD 65. We got the honeycomb grid on top. This is very crucial because look, second to audio, lighting is the most crucial thing. You could be filming on a smartphone, but if you have great lighting, it looks professional, it looks good, the viewers don't mind, they will watch your content. And then the other one right here is this Amaran tube light. This is a T2C. It was like around $200, I believe, and this thing is super nifty because it charges and I can just take it around. It's great for grabbing B-roll. Most of the time I throw it in the background as a kind of a 2-point lighting system. So wherever my main light is shining on me, I have a light opposite of that in the background. That's 2-point lighting. You probably noticed my camera is not on this. So this is my prized possession, the Sony Fx3 with a Sigma 24-70 f2.8 lens and a little KNF Concept Pro Mist filter on the end of it. That's how you get that nice softness of the skin, so that slight blur around lights like this. There's actually a mist filter on that camera as well. If you can kind of see, there's a blur around the light. That's how you get that look. I've had this camera for 4 years. It was 2021. I saved up the most amount of money I've ever had in my life, $8,000 sitting in the bank account, and I spent a little over $5,000 on this camera setup, and then shortly I spent another $2,400 on my MacBook that we'll get to in a second. And it's really a great example of believing in yourself, trusting the process, and investing in yourself, because I very much could have said, oh no, I need to keep my little rainy day fund. What if something really bad happens and I need that $5,000? I guess I'll just film poopy potato quality videos the rest of my life. But no, instead I bought the camera, and this camera has made hundreds of thousands of dollars. Believe in yourself, invest in yourself, especially if you're young. And if for some insane reason I decide to go outside, especially in Arizona where it's like 120 degrees right now, I will slap on this Peter McKinnon ND filter. you should know what it is. If not, it's like sunglasses for your camera so you don't have to crank up the shutter speed and ruin that nice motion blur when you're filming outside. Backpack in the corner because I don't always like to work here. There's certain days I want to go to a coffee shop or go to a friend's, or if I travel, obviously I gotta pack up my shit. But finally moving to the desk itself, you'll notice that my desk is not pressed up against a wall or in a corner or anything like that. It's pretty much in the middle of the entire room. That's because when it comes to your environment, the biggest thing you can optimize for, besides like comfort, obviously, is efficiency. Back in the day, I used to film all my videos in the living room, meaning every single day, if I wanted to record, I had to spend 30 minutes to an hour dragging out my camera, my lights, my chair, setting up the background, pressing record, recording, then packing everything up and putting it back up because my living room can't be a studio 24/7. And then eventually in our last apartment, I had a nice little den office kind of space, but it wasn't big enough to have a desk in the middle, so I had to push it up against the wall, meaning every time I wanted to record, I had to pull my desk out, take the camera, put it there, take this light, put it there, record, and then set it all back up. And it also just dramatically limits your efficiency. Most of the time, my camera stays on this tripod right here. If I want to record straight ahead, all I have to do is pick up this monitor and laptop, move it to the side so I can film directly in this direction. Or sometimes I could just set the camera here, film into that corner, set the camera there, film into that corner without having to move pretty much anything. And that is infinitely better for productivity because I can instantly have the urge or be in the ready state to record, and I don't have to wait another 30 to 45 minutes of getting ready and burning myself out before I even get on camera. The desk itself, I'll link below. It's a $300 standing sitting desk. Not gonna lie, I almost never stand with it. The chair is just a really nice ergonomic chair from Amazon, also linked below. It's like $350. There's two things you should really invest in terms of your overall life quality: a good bed and a good chair, because you're either in one or the other 85% of the time in your life. Sitting on my desk, we have the aforementioned DJI Osmo Pocket 3. This thing is the definition of nifty. It is so nice. It is a super high quality gimbal on a little package. It's actually just this small, but actually I would say that's perfect size. And the reason I love this so much is because I never want to record on the phone because my brain is like, it's gonna be shaky, it's nowhere near as good as your camera, you can't record and log on the phone without getting all crazy and fancy with it. Whereas this, I record and log so I can color grade it and make it look real nice. The camera is a really good 4K camera. I can even put little magnet filters on it, and also it can track me. So if I double tap on myself and I move over here, you can see that the gimbal itself tracked me. I've actually done a couple intros on this channel recently using this tracking feature. It's like having a little cameraman follow you around. So if you are someone that runs and guns quite a bit, or you want the most portable video studio, you can get one of these. And if you get the creator combo, you get it with this, you get the little tripod, you get one of the mics. And what's nice is you could even get the lavalier mic, but then you could plug in one of your really nice shotgun mics into the lavalier mic, so you can still have super high audio quality with such a small setup that you can literally just throw in your backpack or even your pocket and take wherever. Fiji water. And speaking of audio, my current prized possession, my most recent purchase for the studio really, is this microphone right here. This is the Sennheiser MKE600 at around 350 bone skis. And the reason why I got this, even though I had the nice dynamic Shure mic, is because I didn't want the microphone in the camera, and I wanted it to sound more like you were in the room with me, not listening to a podcast with someone with their microphone right here. So this is a super cardioid, meaning it is super directional. So if I point it at myself, it's gonna pick it up. If I point it away, it's not. And it is very much professional level quality. I have this little shock mount absorber. It's connected to this Elgato desk mic arm. And then I run it through this Elgato Wave XLR to convert it to USB-C into my MacBook. This isn't even a new MacBook, to be honest. I've been running on this MacBook since 2021, but man, that M1 chip be going hard though. And then I run it into my Asus ProArt 27-inch, I believe. Extremely good color accuracy, which is important because I edit the color in my videos and my thumbnails, and I want it to look the same it would look on a MacBook or an iPhone. And what I love about it is it's one USB-C cable that not only transports the image from my laptop to here, but also charges my MacBook, meaning that's one less cable to have dangling off the side of my desk. Let's say, oh, the boys are at the coffee shop, or oh, I'm gonna go travel or whatever. Just unplug this stuff, throw it in my backpack, we're good to go. I come back in, put it back in this little stand I have right here that stands my MacBook up because I think it looks sexier, and we're back to work in the lab, in the dojo. We have a crucial piece of productivity that if you're not doing, the fuck is wrong with you? For the longest time, even when I was kind of self-employed as a creator, I was terrible at time management. I would just wake up and wherever the wind took me is what I would work on or what I would do. Yeah, that's terrible and it's gonna keep you poor. Either in the night or in the mornings, first thing, write down the things you want to accomplish that day, and then not just, oh, then go get to work and kind of figure out the order of things. No, order them in terms of priority that second. And those top 3 things need to be the non-negotiables that get accomplished that day, and everything else can kind of be if I have the time to do so. To the left of it, we have my new mouse I just got. This is a Razer Viper V3 Hyperspeed, I believe. And it's called Hyperspeed because it's light as shit. I can just, I'm so fast, I'm so productive right now. And you'll notice that I have this paired with a black Apple trackpad because look, for the majority of my career and my life, I was using trackpads because I was a MacBook kid. But I've come to realize that to maximize productivity, you don't just want a mouse, you don't just want a trackpad, you want both. You know why? Because when I'm scrolling in a timeline on editing, I can use the little 2 fingers. If I want to zoom in, I can pinch and zoom in. But when I want to maximize for speed, you bet I am switching to the mouse so I can just quickly click between tabs and whatnot. And then for the keyboard, this is a Logitech MX Keys Mini. The reason why I got this is because I absolutely love my MacBook keyboard. It is what I can type the fastest on, so I wanted something very similar. The one thing I will say about this is the connectivity isn't the best. Once in a while it will give out, but even so, I can type so damn fast on this, I just don't care. I'm gonna keep this keyboard. And does that mean it's the best keyboard ever? No, it's the one I can type on fastest. You need to pick the things that you can operate on to the best of your ability. I know some people that have like weird mice that is like a big ball or that they hold sideways, whatever is most comfortable and most efficient for you, because at the end of the day, if you have a mouse and you can be 30% faster on your clicks, if you have a keyboard and you can type 30% faster, you're gonna progress in your projects and your work and your content 30% faster the majority of the time. And then when I want high quality audio, or if I'm up on a call, or if I'm walking around, AirPod Pros, self-explanatory. Blast my brain with some EMFs, you know, that should be good for it. And then right above it, we have some 2 milligram nicotine pouches. I do not condone being a fucking degenerate, railing Zins all day long, because that's not productive. You're just dopamine maxing and crashing out. That's why I have the smallest amount I could find, the 2 milligram pouches, and I only use these maybe 2 or 3 times a week, namely if I'm recording or if I really need to focus and it's later in the day and I'm starting to fade out. What else we got going on here? Other little things, we got a little 1 terabyte SanDisk. We got a little feet thing because, like I said, maximize comfort. One thing I realized, when I sit like this, it's not bad, but I kind of feel like my glutes and my legs are being pushed forward, whereas when I elevate them slightly on something like this, I'm more seated back in my chair, and it's a much more healthy but also optimal position, because the less you have to squirm and move around and adjust yourself, the more focused and in flow state you can be, the more productive you can be, the more creative you can be. Compared to only a year ago, we had a 1-bedroom apartment and I had to work at the kitchen island. It was a really weird height. My knees would hit the wall underneath the island and I'd always be adjusting, crisscross applesauce, both legs on the chair, all kinds of nonsense. Not good. And then I have a little orange ball right there. I don't even know where this ball came from, I'm gonna be honest. But twofold. One, it's nice for massaging your feet. But what I really like this for is I can deploy a creativity and productivity tactic called the Mozart method. Mozart was a massive fan of the game billiards, pool, and what he would do is when he was composing music, he would take the billiards ball, roll it out, let it bounce on all 3 walls and back to him. And every time he did that, while the ball was going around, he would write a note. And he did that because it distracted his conscious mind and allowed his subconscious to surface these ideas for his music. So I do something kind of like that. It's a slightly different method I got from one of the OG copywriters, and I will set a timer for 33 minutes and 33 seconds. I'll do my writing if I'm writing, and then when it goes off, I will set a timer for 5 minutes. I'll get up and I'll just throw the ball around and I'll just play catch with myself and I'll just distract my conscious mind instead of scrolling or sitting around anxious and worrying and all these little things. You're getting distracted by literally anything because the world is just distraction. I will occupy my conscious mind and just allow my subconscious to do its thing. And sometimes I'll get awesome ideas that I can then write down as I'm balling out. So the main takeaway I want you to have is that your environment has a massive effect on your conscious mind. Therefore, your productivity, your creativity, your overall output, especially as a creator, an entrepreneur, what have you. Therefore, if you are going to invest in one thing, it should be the place that you walk into to work. You should be in a good mood. You should like your office. You should like your desk and your chair and your monitor and your microphone and your balls. And speaking of investing in yourself, if you're someone who is trying to grow their business or build a business by creating a personal brand, namely through video content, Click the link below and check out Audience Alchemy if you want to learn my secret sauce, my psychological systems to creating a compelling personal brand, writing compelling content, and building a compelling business that runs in the background, that generates you money while you sleeping off the videos you making. And if you'd like to learn exactly what I do when I sit down at this desk to create content and create a profitable personal brand-based business, click the video on the screen right now. Is a full 27-minute guide where I describe how I make FU money, aka freedom money, off of a personal brand through YouTube videos. It's a full guide. It's on the screen right now. Click it, click it, click it. Thanks for watching. Love you. Bye-bye.